Believing that God does not exist is the most stupid thing. Because if you can look, it's the most basic explanation that I give. If you can look to the universe, or if you know something beyond that, you can look. There has to be some power to create that. And if you're coming with that stupid argument of science have created from the atom and blah blah blah, okay, who created atom? And think about this. Who keeps the things in control? So there has to be some power. And that power is called God. And obviously, some atheists are going to come up with some arguments that there is no God, you are completely living on science, this and that, all dependent on science, and science to this, the science to that. That's what I have to say to those atheists. And I've come up with some people who say that God cannot exist if He is kind and He controls everything at the same time. Because the argument is that if He is kind and He can control everything at the same time, why don't He interfere in the society and solve all the problems? He can solve the natural calamities and the causes caused by the natural calamities. He can help the poor. He can maintain everything as equal and give money. He can give His blessings for all kinds of people. Why doesn't He do that? And why does evil exist in the world if He's so kind and so powerful? I'd answer you with a small story. It starts like this. There was a barber, and while he was doing his job, a Muslim came to cut his hair. Okay, he was cutting his hair, and they keep on talking into the topic of God, existence of God. And the barber said, there is no God. God cannot exist. And he came up with the same argument. God exists, why doesn't He solve all the problems of society? And the Muslim guy replied, okay, there are problems in society, and why doesn't He solve it? I'll tell you the answer. So, take a look out to the streets. There are a lot of people with long hair and bad mustache, bad beard, and doesn't have a good hairline. Why does he have that? You can cure all those things because you're a barber. How can I cure? How can I make them right unless they come to me? Exactly. You cannot make anything right. You cannot be forgiven until you seek forgiveness to God. You cannot be blessed until you seek blessingness from God. It's a simple answer that God can solve all the problems. Because if you seek blessing and if you seek to be a good person and you tell God all your problems and you pray to God with all your heart and do the best possible to solve your problems. And here's the thing, when your problem doesn't solve only when you pray or seek solution to God. You have to look into yourself to solve your problems. God is just something that controls your whole world and all the universe and whatever it is at the end of the line. You are responsible for all your problems. You have the free will. You are the Son of God. What makes you different from is that you are not programmed like the animals. Because when an animal kid is born, that kid is not taught how to walk. Just walk by itself because it's programmed inside its mind. It doesn't eat any wrong food because it's programmed in its mind whether or what to eat. When a human kid is born, it should be taught how to walk. It should be taught what to eat. It should be taught what to learn, and it should be taught what to speak, and more and more. Exactly, it is how it happens. You have free will, and you have to think clearly to do the right thing. If you are a Muslim and if you're not only a Muslim, you might be an idiotic Muslim if you're not read Quran or doesn't know any things from Quran. If you're a Muslim, you can know that in Quran, Allah has said that even if you follow every single lines of Quran and put that into your life, you might not be in heaven. It doesn't guarantee even if you follow Quran. Why is that? Because you are free will. You have to be thinking logically to take decisions. What? You have to only depend on Quran. That's what he said. So I guess the question for existence of God is over. And if it's still not over, you need to have a comment section. You can ask me questions, and I'll be free to answer in my next videos, or I'll be putting on a separate video if the questions are too long or too big or more complicated. I can answer you anything that I've said out of my mouth. So I dare you to ask. Until then, stay strong. Or stay hard, stay strong, whatever it is. Stay alive.